3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here is today's comic, X-Force #1. Man, Marvel has a lot of X books coming out, and this is only phase 1. It's just going to get more crowded from here. I think I've done reviews. I've done reviews on X-Men, Excalibur, Marauders, then Excalibur, then New Mutants, and now this one. So this is 5 different books. And unfortunately, I've been disappointed with all the previous books so far. And X-Force is the one I was having the most hopes for because, well, let's look at it. I mean, it looks the most like actually X-Men, even though they didn't title it X-Men. So I was, it's got some of my favorite characters. Wolverine is my absolute favorite. I love Colossus. I don't know why they would put Quentin Quire on the same team as Jean Grey, but what are you going to do? So we open up here, and we see a guy with a knife. There is us, and there is them. To make certain none of us are one of them, we will begin with a purity test. All it requires is a little blood. Before the meeting commences, each of us must test clean. My companion here will collect each sample. If any should test positive for the X gene, he will scrub away the stain of you. I wish the psionic shield surrounding this chamber were enough to ensure our privacy. But we are here to discuss the declaration of mutant sovereignty and the realities of the new geopolitical situation. A delicate matter to be sure. One can never be too careful. And then we see his companion staring over this woman who looks up. Oh, right. I suppose it's gloves off. She pulls her gloves off, revealing a white hand. If it's blood you're after. And all of a sudden, a hand on her shoulder. It took a lot of luck to get in here. But it's going to take a lot more to get out. She stabs the guy in the hand and just starts whooping ass on people. Okay. So Domino, obviously is who this character is, has infiltrated this private meeting. She is guilty of being a spy. I want to point this out right now. This is something that we would, lock someone up for life or possibly face death penalty. This is something that is not. These type of things are not unheard of in almost any other country as well. Spies, generally sometimes kept alive as like bartering chips, because if another nation's spy gets caught in exchange, well, whatever. But this is something, if you get caught, obviously usually you're disavowed, because the nation spying like this is almost like an act of war in some ways. But the X-Men, the nation of Krakoa, apparently seems to be under this idea that they can do whatever they want. The rest of the world is, doesn't have any rights. Their laws are meaningless to them. It's really hard on the palate to tolerate what's this vision of the X-Men. It's not necessarily that the writing is bad, but I can't stomach what I'm reading. So this guy grabs her, smashes her down on the ground. As I said before, to make certain none of us are one of them, we require blood. So, looks like they're about to kill her. I don't understand this animosity. New intelligence, the white page. Mutants around the world are flocking to the island nation of Krakoa for safety, security, and to be a part of the first mutant society. However, a new nation means new enemies. Here's the cast. Apparently Kitty Pryde. I guess these boxes don't indicate who's on the team. as I'm starting to discover, it's who appears in the book. Really confusing and weird. I don't know why they do this, but I think they're just trying too hard to do these white pages. This is issue 1, The Hunting Ground. And we start off with Krakoa. Now, I really like the art here. I like the coloring. It's almost got this watercolor on pencils look. And it's actually not even watercolor. It looks like it's like colored inks. It's pretty vibrant. I really like it. I'm not sure it's the best thing for an X book. It's really good. This would be really good for a fantasy comic. And all of a sudden, this crazy, weird mutant beast comes out of the jungle and attacks Beast. Oh dear, he responds. And Snarl, he's just got some pinned down. Wolverine's looking down. Beast is in trouble, and Wolverine comes out of nowhere and lands next to the Beast, not really on the Beast. And then the thing runs off, and Beast has to say, "Let it go, Logan." Orf, orf, orf. That thing almost made you into lunch, and you want me to let it be? I want to know what it is, that's all. It can't possibly be a product of the island. If it were, it wouldn't have harmed me. Maybe it mistook me for a threat? Been hunting the thing for a few days, and I can assure you, it's left a lot of bones behind. But Krakoa is supposed to be a refuge. More like a salad bar. Every flower-filled meadow's got a hawk or a wolf or a snake lingering nearby, waiting for a taste. There's always a predator. Whatever the hell that thing was, you didn't see it coming, because you felt sheltered. That's what Krakoa does. Makes everyone feel safe. And when you're safe, you're soft. It's a good point. Excuse me. Had a crazy yawn to set in here. Then we get another white page about the security features of Krakoa. Spoiler, there's a pollen thing around the island to detect things, and Tom Cassidy's tied into it all. And that's what his purpose is. He can hear he can be in tune with the island. Okay, whatever. So it's still weird for me to be a Black Tom Cassidy, be a part of an X book. He's old school X-Men villain. And they got a warning system. Something's breached the security, plankton or something around the island. And Jean's like, Tom, there's a psychic disturbance on the northwest shore. We know, we're already on our way. Out there, what is that? Everyone's supposed to come through the gates. You can't trust what doesn't come through the gates. It's not that you're wrong. It's just that the rules don't apply to Kitty Pryde and her marauders. Dun 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 dun. It's just like, and they're on this goofy little tugboat. Yay! It's so cute. I need you to hurry, Tom. We're here, aren't we? Don't be telling us we need to rush. We're here and we're doing what needs to be done. Yeah, you tell her, Tom. There's something on board that ship. Black market goods, we hear. Kitty's smuggling. We might have to get ourselves a taste of that. That's not what I'm talking about. Then what is? What is it, Gray? Tell us. It's full of pain. There was no getting through the gates. The ground was crawling with tanks, and the sky was screaming with jets. We stole this ship and got them out barely. Okay, I need to pause for a second. So, they invaded Russia. This picks up from the Marauders, if you haven't read the Marauders or watched my video. So they invaded Russia, and with their super boat that the Hellfire Club gave Kitty, they couldn't get away with it. There were tanks, there were jets, all this stuff. So they got away on a tugboat. So the Russian military was like, oh, damn, foiled. They got the tugboat. What are we going to do with our jets? That's so stupid. Oh, God. Good thing there was a tugboat and you escaped the entire Russian military. Of course you did. And of course, they were using chemical weapons because however rough the boat looks, the refugees are worse. It's more than bullets and bombs. It's chemical weapons. Thank you, Kitty, for getting them here. Of course it was chemical weapons. Of course. Those dirty Russians. God. Only thing worse than helping them get Trump elected was their chemical weapons on mutants. It's just come on. And I know I'm reading into this. I know. But it's just, I'm just so tired of taking everyone and making them this, like, Stalin-esque, just evil. Because, yeah, Russia's just using chemical weapons on people, right? That's the world we live in. Just so they reveal that they got a person aboard. He's the man I don't want to see hurt anymore. Peter. From the desk of Charles Xavier. Official response to non-treaty nations. All those who have not yet signed the treaty acknowledging mutant sovereignty will be treated publicly as future allies who have not yet realized the benefits of the agreement. So this is a thing talking about how they're going to keep pursuing relations. And, there's going to be some disagreements, but it's got to be friendly disagreement. No hostile behavior. But they said any openly hostile behavior towards mutant kind will be subject to an immediate tactical response, pending discussion and approval from the Quiet Council. So unofficial response to non-treaty nations. How does Charles pen an unofficial response? Doesn't that make it by definition an official? Anyways, any attempt at non-treaty nations to secure back-channel conduits for Krakoan medicine will be arranged through the Black King of the Hellfire. So essentially, they're going to have a black market drug dealing operation. So that's what heroes do. Seoul International Airport. And so people getting aboard the plane. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will begin boarding our flight to Honolulu, Hawaii. Let me see a dodgy-looking gentleman with a mole on his forehead because, that makes him look more dodgy. I'd like to invite our first-class cabin to step forward. And then we've got this burly woman. Like, seriously, I was like, looking at this, I was like, when did Captain Marvel show up into the story? So we get a lot of panels about boarding a freaking plane. It's just like, la-di-da-di-da, boarding the plane, still boarding the plane, and there's a storm. It's going to be just like, Jesus. Okay, we don't need all that. Then we've got Professor Xavier communicating to Sage. It's been more than a week since Cerebro lost contact with Domino. You want me to check the system, see if she's turned up? You read my mind. I'm searching the island's database now. I'm sorry, Charles. I've got nothing. If anything changes, I'll be sure to. I know you will. And he walks through a gate and goes to Sokovia and has drinks with people there. Meanwhile, Jean Grey is talking to Healer, and Healer wants her to read minds because he can't tell where people are hurting. And it's like, I didn't realize that was how his power worked. But she says, I can't tell you where they hurt because they hurt everywhere. So Peter apparently got shot protecting a little girl. Of course. Look at this Russians, all evil. The humanity is just so evil. We should just all burn in hell. God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but we're okay. Storm, blah da da da. The captain speaking. And the bags come down. People are panicking, but Mr. Molyface, he's not perturbed, and we see. This is some good visual storytelling. I did like that. The planes bumping around. You can see in the art here how there's like double images. You can sense the shaking, and this woman looking over like, why is he not panicking? And the captain's like, just breathe. So these are a bunch of spec ops guys on the plane. They've taken it over. They're using the plane as a cover to sneak in. Where are they sneaking in? Or I'll give you one guess. It starts with a K. And they get all their gear, and then they perform a halo jump, which is high altitude, low opening jump from 60,000 feet. And look at this woman. Is she trans? I mean, she's got a man's body. Look at her biceps are bigger than any of these men. Just whatever. Whatever. Stupid. If they don't already have eyes on the sky, they will soon. Cluster. So here's where we see the pollen around the island. It's bioluminescent, so something's coming through it. It lights up. That's why at first I was like, why are they burning up in the atmosphere? That wouldn't happen. That's the way the island warns. So Black Tom Cassidy's on top of it, and they think it's Domino. Black Tom's just not satisfied with security, thinks Charles too soft, and he doesn't like how trusting he is. Charles tries to tell him, look, all mutants are trustworthy. We're all on the same side. I vouch for you, so you need to listen to what I say. Meanwhile, these guys are still parachuting down. Black Tom's trying to communicate. Here's where Charles says, all mutants can be trusted. We're in this together. Krakoa is not a prison. Now, Wolverine is eating in front of a campfire with smoke. I know Wolverine has super senses of smell, and I get that. You would not smell people in the upper atmosphere. Well, not upper atmosphere. You would not smell people up above you that are coming towards you like this, because scent has to travel along the wind. It's not something it's not something like vision that you can just, if they're in range, you can smell them. It actually, particles have to travel. Not to mention Wolverine's senses would be clouded by all the smoke and the fire and the food that's in his face. But whatever, it's comics. That's a really nitpicky thing. Krakoa is both our refuge and our fortress. He's lecturing Tom as they're walking through, and everyone's like, oh, look, we're all so happy. You would do well to welcome your friends, says Black Tom. And there's a laser sight on this woman's forehead, and they're just like, oblivious, unaware, and beware your enemies. Splutch! So, sound of a silencer shot. She gets shot in the head. Mama? And the daughter just holding her dead mom's hand. She lies on the ground. Then we hear, Buddha, 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 Buddha. Boss, I know you're supposed to be in charge, but right now I need you to listen to Black Tom and run like hell. Oh, no. Jean says, no. Wolverine says, no, no, no. And they just show up and just start murdering people. Just because in modern progressive comic land, villains always seem to be mass shooters. So these guys, they're these like spec ops guys. Their purpose apparently is to show up on the island and just start gunning people down in cold blood. I don't understand this, other than to vilify these characters, because we all know mass shooting is the demonic act of our generation now that it's used to be politicized and anti-gun. Anyways, Black Tom, all these mutants, it just doesn't make sense. A 4-man team of gun-toting people on an island full of thousands of mutants with all these sorts of powers, including the X-Men. Charles Xavier can't do anything to them because they've got shielded helmets, apparently. Okay. Be that as it may, I think Jean Grey could use her telekinesis and toss them into space. So Wolverine shows up, and he's like, we get the cool Wolverine moments where he's, this is the guy we need to deal with this. And he's like, are you looking for me? I'm right here. And then Beast shows up and guts a dude. So now we've got Visceral Beast. He's got blood all over his hands. I'm afraid it's just as you said, my friend. There are indeed always predators. So now Beast is one of those predators, apparently. Then Jean shows up. We were stupid and slow and careless. It's time to be smart and swift and violent. That's not Jean Grey. I mean, that is modern Jean Grey. That's the Jean Grey that we got from the Bendis Jean Grey, and the more aptly the Tom Taylor Jean Grey. But it's just drives me nuts to see. I used to love these X-Men. This can never happen again. So Black Tom's using his powers, which I'm still not really clear on. Charles, we're coming. And Charles has got his hands up facing his gunner. I know this isn't easy to accept, but we're your only chance at... That's not possible. It's just not. So I'm not sure what we're looking at. Someone's looking at is that Sage? We go back. Sorry, I didn't scroll down. I apologize. Sometimes I get caught up in making these videos. I know it's not easy to accept, but we're our only chance at... Blam! And you see the horrors on their faces. Stop! Logan! And of course, Logan's just in a fury at this point. We can't kill them all. We need someone left to question. We need to understand who's responsible. Which I think Logan, in all of his superior spec ops training, would be understanding of this. I don't think he would be the one to need to be told, but whatever. He's in a berserker rage, I guess. And that's when we get to Sage. Sorry for messing that up. That's not possible. Jean, are you there? I know you're there. I'm looking at the census and I don't understand. Tom, answer me. Will someone please answer me? Tom, all sad. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Krakoa's wrong. Wolverine, look at his rage. Wolverine. Tell me it's not true. When we see the hole through the cerebro, the blood, and then the hand of Charles, to be continued. And that's it. That's X-Force number 1. And I gotta say, I was just left cold at the end of this. I didn't feel the emotion that I think the writer is trying to get us to feel like this. At number 1, the villains just felt way too, almost like comical, cartoony. They're just so stereotypical, so like, oh, look, this 4-man team, Spec Op, they just show up, start just gunning people. Doesn't even make sense what they're doing. It's just like, we need something bad. Like, that's not a villain. It's a threat. I don't know who these people are. The agenda apparently is hate. It's just hate. Blind, nonsensical hate. And then Charles shot. Now, the problem here is we know he's not dead. It's just going to resurrect Charles Xavier. No one really can die. You already blew your wad in House of X when the X-Men died, and then you brought him back. We didn't know that could happen. So that part of the story felt very emotional. This didn't feel. This just felt like, oh, okay, Charles is going to get a respawn. And that's it. And I just don't care about these people. This is probably still my favorite of the books so far, but that's not saying much. I do enjoy the art, and I think it's because Wolverine. I like Wolverine, but that's not enough. He's surrounded by the X-Men that I don't like, and their purpose is one that I don't have any sympathy towards. And it just doesn't make sense how this world where just all humans are just hateful of mutants. This doesn't make sense. It's just this weird, progressive, distorted delusion of a world that doesn't exist. And I know this is a comic book. This world doesn't really exist anyway, but just, the whole world, 7 billion people just all hate mutants because mutants... And so they want to just be on their island, and mutants are all perfect and all trustworthy, and all of a sudden all the evil mutants are not evil anymore, and they're all just, yay, we're all a bunch of hippie commune, and we're all just perfect, and it's the humanity is just wrong. That's the stories. Every story so far is that. That's not interesting. That's not interesting comic books. I'm a human being. I'm reading a comic book about human beings. Being totally just evil. Over and over and over. What's the villain of the next book? Oh, it's the humanity being evil again. Oh, I was hoping that maybe we'd have like them fight Apocalypse or Magneto or some classic X-villain that's fun. Or maybe make a new X-villain. No, just humanity, more evil humanity. And meanwhile, we're going to watch the mutants be all self-entitled and self-impressed, and the whole world belongs to them. They can do whatever they want. They can steal from people and all this stuff. And it's just, nothing matters. I don't get this, because House of X and Powers of X really won me over. It was really well done. And I guess it was leading to this. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that we were going to see some change. And you might say, Asher, you're jumping the gun. This is only the first issue. And there's some truth to that. I am jumping the gun. This is only the first issue. But I feel like it's not, because I've read X-Men, and then I read Marauders, then I read Excalibur, then I read New Mutants, and now I've read X-Force. And I've read 5 books into this. And I feel like it's, oh, look, it's humans bad. Humans bad. No one reading this book is a mutant. We're all reading it and we're being told we are the evil. But I think some people are reading this book and they're feeling like they're the mutants. And no, this is a book about bigotry, and it's not just bigotry about humans towards mutants. This is a book about bigotry of mutants towards humans. This is hate all around. And just because the mutants are like, hey, we're a bunch of hippies and we're enjoying our super coffee on the island and we're not trying to hurt anyone, that's not true. You're stealing shit from people. You're invading foreign countries. You're abducting people. You're committing acts of espionage. And I mean, literally, Domino just stabs this guy. He's just doing his job. She's not even supposed to be there. She's the one in violation. But again, it's all like, everything's excusable for them. If you're a mutant, there is no expectations. There's no laws. There's no rules. You are allowed to do whatever you want. Only humanity has to follow these rules. This weird set of double standard. I'm just waiting for stories of heroism and adventure. Am all I going to get is this of just, oh, look at how violent humans are, we got to fight them? You may enjoy that. I think that's all X-Men's been doing for past 10, 20 years. Can we have fun X-Men again? Can we? I hope so. I don't want to hate, really. I want to enjoy this book. And like I said, it is my favorite of the rest. I'm going to probably give this maybe another chance. I am not continuing with New Mutants. This is the only book besides X-Men so far that I'm going to continue to probably give a chance. I think Benjamin Piercy's got some okay writing. It's not so much that his writing is terrible. It's not great. It's the concepts that he has to write around, with what Hickman's got set up. And the framework it feels faulty. And like I said, maybe this is all part of a big surprise and a reveal. I don't know how many books we have to buy in order to get that payoff. And I'm not even sure the payoff's coming. All right, you've heard me blab too much. I could just be like, the end, the villain's dead. Ding dong, I could end it right now. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you weren't too triggered by me not liking this book. I think a lot of people are just going to be entirely tunnel vision, rose-colored glasses. Oh, the X-Men, everything is great. It's X-Men, it's so good. We can't see the faults because we don't want to see the faults. And I wish I could be there. I wish I was enjoying this. Hey, at least there's Daredevil to look forward to.